Hey everyone, Maxtortion here, playing the Saturday night June 22nd Legacy Challenge. I'm doing this with a fun one tonight with MH3 cards. I'm doing Stifle Knot, which is usually just Phyrexian Dreadnought and Stifle, or Dress Down, but the original deck name, was with Dreadnought and Stifle. These cards go way, way, way back, and is even like a pre-modern deck where you get your 12/12, you get the sacrifice trigger, you stifle the trigger, you've got a 1-mana 12/12. Very cool. Dress Down does the same thing. And Nulldrifter is a play on the classic card Nulldrifter. And of course is, from MH3, is an Eldrazi elemental and has the evoke cost of 2 and a blue, so 3 mana. When you cast it, draw 2 cards, so you can essentially use it as a divination. But if you have a Dress Down already in play, or you have extra mana and a Stifle, you get to you don't have to sacrifice the Nulldrifter, so you get your 4/4 Flying Annihilator one as well. So this card is really good in the shell. We used to play something like Uro, which you could have, of course, stifled the sacrifice trigger or dressed down to where it enters, but Nulldrifter does it better. And what would MH3 be in Legacy without our little psychic frog, the Hypnotoad, where we are basically a mix of Psychotog and Shadow Mage Infiltrator. Psychotog has a discard a card effect, and it would get a +1/+1 till end of turn. Psychic Frog has no such limitations. This is Modern Horizons. You discard cards for +1/+1 counters, and you can exile 3 cards from your yard to give it flying, so it can get through. And then whenever it deals combat damage to a player or planeswalker, you draw a card. And you'll notice that I'm playing 2 Life from the Loams in this list. These 2 cards are also best friends, to where you can loam back a bunch of extra lands that you don't need and then just discard them to Psychic Frog. So you can you don't have to discard like your valuable spells. You can just have an abundance of lands from your Life from the Loam and discard them to the frog. 1 Legolas has quick reflexes. A lot of the cards in here, basically, if you connect, you are incredibly far ahead. And the 1 quick reflexes allows you to keep your creature alive for the turn, or kind of act as a removal spell, like put it on even like a Nulldrifter, but especially on a Dreadnought. If this thing is turning sideways, it's killing anything on the other opposing side of the board. Then we've got 2 Witherbloom commands to kind of round out the utility suite. You can recur your wastelands, you can remove chalices, you can kill Orcish Bowmasters, lots of little things. One thing to note, so I'm recording this again on June 22nd. You're going to be seeing this on Monday, June 24th, which is the day of a ban announcement. Now, I am speculating that Grief is going to get banned from Legacy, and I would not be surprised if Orcish Bowmasters got sent away with it too. And so you'll know that I could be totally off base right now, or I could be right. And if I am right, I didn't want to record tonight with like a Grief Bowmaster deck that is completely irrelevant as soon as you're able to view it. And so one of the things I wanted to do tonight is play essentially a blue-black deck. We're splashing green here, but it's basically blue-black. Without Bowmaster or Grief to show what those kind of decks can look like and what they're capable of. So I'm excited to play this challenge, and I will see you all for round 1. Hey everyone, we're here for round 1. We're against Clay Spicklemeyer, who has gotten 2nd place at a Legacy Grand Prix with Delver. I'm assuming he's going to be playing some sort of Delver style deck. Now with this opening, what do I want to do? I've mulliganed to 6. I think I'm going to keep it and throw away the Force of Will. I'm already on 6 cards, but I'm on the play and I have a Stifle and a Daze. And so I'm going to go Underground Sea Pass and see if he can fetch into a Stifle. I'm hoping he does. If he doesn't, then turn 2, I'll Ponder and try to find a 2nd land. He might also just Wasteland me, so we'll see. Well, he's targeting himself, which often means that he's debating on a fetch land and debating whether or not to do it now or after the draw. And he wants to do it after the draw. I'm trying not to act suspicious with my stifling. Let's see here. So I'll go Dreadnought. I kind of do want the sewers, but I don't want to give away that I'm on Dreadnought. So I could go Dreadnought, Wasteland, Sewers, no shuffle. I also kind of do think I want the Wasteland in tandem with my Stifles, so I'll keep that on top. My hope is that he fetches with this land, it gets a duel, and I'm able to waste it and stifle the other fetch that he plays. So let's see if that all pans out, but that's my hope here. Underground Sea for clay. And a ponder. I think I'm going to daze this ponder. I think he might be looking for a second land. He might see a wasteland on top, or he's targeting himself. Okay. Had the fetch land the whole time. Oh, if he lets me... Oh, this is fantastic for me. So now I'm going to get to draw my wasteland, and I'll get to stifle the Scalding Tarn. So I will do this now because this is cracked, so I am able to, without any fear of days, just get this off the board, and he doesn't have any access to mana right now. And now he can fetch with the other one, but I'd rather do this first, force the double fetch. Yep. Volcanic. Delver of Secrets. Delver is in. So I have a Dreadnought that I'm about to draw. I'm going to ponder into a daze because one of these spells is going to get dazed, I think. Ooh, dress down. That's really nice. So I'll go Delta, dress down, Wasteland. No shuffle. Now I'm debating between holding up Stifle for the next land or playing out this Wasteland. And I think that this is likely his last land, so I'm just going to waste it. If I thought he had another land in hand, like another fetch land, I would have held up the Stifle, but I'm just kind of trying to read the situation and see that these 3 fetch lands have already been used. And so it's fairly likely that he didn't have one. And this, I think, was his draw, and that's why Delver didn't flip. But now I'll be able to, I'll draw a dress down. Which I will play at my end step. Or sorry, his end step to then untap and Dreadnought. But let's see what we see. Let's see what happens here. That's my base plan. So daze was revealed. I'm no longer going to do that plan because it plays right into this daze. Another land, okay. Delver's getting in there. I have a fetch land on top, which is going to be nice for this loam. The frog is in. So at this point, I kind of want to clear the board here, but I know about daze. I do have Stifle Dreadnought, so yeah, maybe here's what I do. I dress down, let this get dazed, and then I'll untap and Stifle Dreadnought. Okay, well, it resolved even better. And I have a force for my trouble. Very nice. So I'll play Dreadnought. This very well could get forced. Force pitching the days. I will force back pitching Stifle. Second force, okay. Pitching second days. Now I guess I will loan back 3 lands. Wasteland, Wasteland, Delta. This is kind of a rough situation, ironically, because this Frog and Delver can quickly run away with the game, drawing extra cards and dealing damage. So even though I'm way up on stuff, I'm pretty behind on board presence. I was hoping that he didn't have a second Force of Will there. What was the other card he pitched? Second Days. I've been making Days bad the whole game intentionally, so it makes sense that he was holding on to them. Ponder. So I'm going to start clearing volcanic islands because I don't want to get bolted. See, if I could pick my draw right now, I would pick to draw a Psychic Frog. At which point I would wasteland the volcanic and then move phases and play a frog. He shuffled. Good to note. Brainstorming now, he's afraid of Orcish Bowmaster. So he wants to do this before it can blow his entire board. Well, that wasn't what I wanted to see, but I will still wasteland the Volk. This is probably going to get a blue-red Surveil. No Surveil land. So he does not play any of the Surveil lands because he would fetch one right there if he did. Ponder. Let's see here. Yeah, I'm really hoping for my own frog. Use one of these bad boys. Really, that's the best draw I could find. It would protect my life total because it could block either one of these things too. Now, unfortunately, he's up to 3 cards, down to 2 cards in hand, but has a bunch of stuff going on. Hope this isn't a Murktide Regent. I would be so screwed. It's a Murktide Regent. I will take a draw step just to pretend that there's something that gets me out of it, but there is not. Brainstorm, technically, I guess. Well, not Dreadnought. Okay, so against Delver, I want the Hydroblasts, I think. I want Carpets for sure. I want Pick Your Poison. Fatal Push, go for the Throat. So these are the cards I want. I don't really want Brazen Borrower. Oh, sorry. I do want, or I don't really want, I don't know. Kind of mixed bag on that. Voidwalker's decent at, like, just kind of stopping their graveyard stuff, but it does eat bolts very painfully. I could cut the 4 forces. Witherbloom commands don't actually kill the frogs. They only kill unflipped Delvers and unflipped DRCs, so I could see cutting those. These are 6 cards out. I'm bringing in Carpets. I don't really want to get too flooded. I actually cut a Wasteland and maybe a single Loam. I don't have that much time. This seems like a reasonable plan. I'm unsure on the borrowers. Yeah, I'm going to trim on Dreadnoughts to bring in the pair of borrowers just because I want to be able to bounce oversized frogs, Murktide Regents, what have you. The single go for the throat and pick your poison is not going to clear out the abundance of those cards. This is a great opener. I can go Tropical Island Carpet and pass the turn. It might motivate him to not crack his fetch land, to not give me mana, but I'm fine with that too because then I just play a frog. Yep, Wasteland. Not a surprise. Added 0 blue. Now I'm going to pass the turn back. Very likely that he's not going to play or not crack a fetch land here. Targeting himself. Yeah, played, not cracked. Trying to make the carpet bad. Undercity Sewers gets in and starts looking at things. I do not need a dress down right now. Let's brainstorm. Perfect. Found stuff. I'll put Brazen Borrower and LQR on top. I'm gonna play out this island because it is not wastable. And then I'll pass the turn back. One thing that Carpet does really well against Delver decks is this whole tempo thing where he's not casting spells because he's trying to deny me mana. Well, up until now, because he wants to make sure that I can't do things. But fortunately for me, I'm not as concerned about that. I'm much more concerned about developing my board. So I will be drawing a Brazen Borrower here, I think, or LQR. Doesn't matter, one of them. I will add green. And then I will add black on my second main. And I'll play a frog. Let's see what happens here. Pretty happy to have a frog. You can see he's thinking pretty hard here. Did not crack the fetch land. Wants to draw with the ponder, or is now thinking again about it in his upkeep. Does in fact want to draw that card. Three mana. Maybe it's just his own frog. Yeah, it's his own frog. Okay. Well, I can brazenly borrow that, and I'm going to. I'm not going to add any mana to the pool yet, or I'll add mana with one of them. Okay, yes with one. Add all blue. No with the other. Petty Theft, Frog. Arrivederci, Frog. See what happens now. Okay. Success. Now we will attack. And we connect. Hydroblast, or Fire Blast. I think this daze is going bad before the blast. So I will bounce, returning my Undercity Sewers so I get additional surveils. This could eat a Force of Will. It does. Now I can counter target spell if it's red, and counter the Pyroblast. Why did he pitch with Force of Will? He pitched a Daze. And we draw Brainstorm. So with this trigger on the stack, I'm going to cast a Brainstorm just so I have a better sense of what I want to use my mana on. Okay, so I can put away Undercity Sewers and I think this Stifle. Then I can say yes. Add triple blue. And I'm just going to cast the Brazen Borrower. I don't want to either expose or reveal the Legolas's quick reflexes in Tropical Island. At this point, I can fetch for that later. There's the frog that we know about. This frog has a potential to be very big. And a DRC, which is currently a 3/3 as well. Okay. So let's figure this out. I think I'm going to get a tropical island here, just to start. And then I can assess what I'm going to do as my turn rolls around. I drew the Stifle anyway. I will add 3 blue right now. And then I will not add the second bit of mana. Borrower again is great. No shuffle. Petty Theft, the frog. And I will be able to use this LQR as a removal spell for this DRC. So I just put it on the Brazen Borrower. I attack with both. And then deal 3 to the DRC. I end up drawing a Daze now. And then I get 3 blue mana, and I will play my Brazen Borrower from the Adventure Zone. Nice. That feels pretty solid. Here's the frog we know about. So now, what do I do? He's got one card up on me. So if I attack with everything, he could block and eat my frog with his frog. Do I want to start changing cards like this? Is this the bluff I want to, or is this something I want to take? Or we just both discard ourselves? He eats the frog, takes 6? No, that doesn't seem worth it to me. I lose that exchange horribly. So I will just hang back. Could really use a Nulldrifter. That would be fantastic right now. Could even just cast it with all these carpets. Yep. Ponder. So it's a little unfortunate that he's got one more card in hand over me. But I did have to play out this tropical island to get the LQR to destroy the Darcy. Maybe it was the second carpet that I shouldn't have played, but that's been putting me really far ahead too, so it's hard to say. Not super clear to me. If he goes to combat and attacks with the frog, I'm just letting it through. I don't think he's going to do that. I also don't think he can reasonably just like stare at me forever without casting any spells to the board, but what do I know? Nulldrifter. No, dress down. It's actually kind of good. I'll add triple blue with that. And will not do anything with that one. I'll cast a dress down. Because either, you know, it gets countered and put, at which point we trade card for card, or he's forced to act with his frog now. Like, give it flying, pump it up, what have you, so that my Brazen Barbers don't get through. Yeah, countered it. Okay. I'm not that concerned about that. I'm just going to let it happen. Passing on. Interesting place where he's up one card on me. And as soon as I get to resolve a draw two, I'm in really good shape. But until then, I think that he's a bit favored. He also can't add anything to the board because then all of a sudden my frog can tangle with his frog. Or, you know, I could just draw a Fatal Push. That'd be nice. Big fan of Fatal Push. I played a land. So we will be equal on cards in hand when I draw for turn. DRC. Yep. Bobble. Yep. Looking at the top of my library. Wonder what he sees, because I don't know. I don't know what it is. Something good, I hope? No, nothing good. No. No. So now I have a larger frog. But then he could block with DRC and the frog. So I think I'm going to... I just discard these two now to try to play around Bolt. I guess I don't even play around Bolt that way because I'd get eaten by the Darcy. If I attack with everything though, yeah, this gets double blocked. And it would end up killing the frog as we rip through our hands. I think that's right. I'm going to discard these cards now. Trying to play around this lightning bolt that I'm a little bit afraid of. Yeah, I feel like he does have that bolt. If he uses it now, then I just discard another card. Oh, but then he could just block my... Yeah, I think that I attack with all. Wait, Darcy, yes, Frog could become a 2/4 and Frog would trade with... Yeah, I need to let DRC attack for a turn first. I just wanted to get the Frog up to a 3/4. It's a tough combat situation. I really feel like he's got a bolt in there. That's a Pyroblast. Nasty. Really nasty, because that's not a bolt. And it just kills the frog dead. Well, that's unfortunate for me. I need some sort of hard removal spell for this frog. Wow, okay. Well, that's not good. Yeah, 3 Pyroblasts is quite rough for me. But, I mean, I still have outs. I draw a Nulldrifter, and I'm not only just in this game, but I'm likely to win it. I've got 4 of those in this deck. I don't know where they are. Could really use one. But we'll see. The Murktide? Feel like it is. Murktide, that frog can make unreasonably large at will, for what it's worth, by exiling cards from the graveyard to give frog flying, but just to also bump up the Murktide to obscene sizes. Bolting, I will daze that. And I'm returning the land to my hand just as a means of, if I draw another frog, I want to be able to discard stuff to it. And I could just block the Darcy now. But Murktide's what I'm super afraid of. I wonder if I need to just pretend. Yeah, I'm going to pretend that the Darcy doesn't really exist. And it's just clocking me for 3 for turn, and it doesn't block. And I'm going to try to like sneak through this as an attacker. Nulldrifter, yes, fantastic. Okay. So I will add 8 blue mana. Cast Nulldrifter. And another one, okay. This one I can Stifle Knot into play. So I play, it's evoking it, air quotes, draw 2. And then when it enters the battlefield, I stifle that. Okay. That's very good for me. And I have another Nulldrifter on deck. Now, the DRC Surveil machine is going to be hard at work trying to find something to do. And I get to see a lot more of Clay's deck. Shuffled library. We'd love to see that. So at this point, Frog can be as large as a 3/4, which means that it loses to Nulldrifter in combat. With his 2 cards in hand. It's given it flying. All my creatures fly, so that's fine. Now he's thinking hard. Yep. It's a big Murktide. Doesn't trample though. Feeling pretty good about this decision to bring in the Brazen Borrowers. This is the kind of situation where Borrower would absolutely shine. Probably going to cut all the Dreadnoughts on the draw. Okay, let's see here. So yeah, I guess I'll add mana now. Blue and black. So I'll kick this off with a Nulldrifter because I can just draw 2 with it. So I'll leave 1 black in the pool. Oops. No, it's okay, I can stifle. I'm being way more mana efficient this way, but it's not really what I wanted to do. So Nulldrifter. ETBs, I stifle the evoke. This one now. I think I ponder first. Found a dress down, dreadnought, and a frog. I don't really think I need these right now. Frog is still fine. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 if I tap out. So I could cast another Nulldrifter that way. Or I could just evoke it. I think I'll do that. Very cool. Now the Loam Frog engine is online. This one does die, unfortunately. So I will Wasteland the Underground Sea. And then if I attack with both of these, I think I am in good shape because I can just block the backswing just fine. Yeah, so 2 Annihilator triggers go on the stack. Then I'll have a frog coming down, but I have an abundance of blockers here. Really, I'm concerned about clock too, given that we're both approaching 7 minutes now. Probably the last match in this whole thing at the end of all of it. Surprise delirium from DRC over here. The lands got sacrificed. And I will let the frog, I will kill the frog and let the Darcy survive. Then second main, I'll just play a frog. And pass. Yeah, I need to play quick because the larger the time delta I provide now, the more of a buffer I'll have in game 3. If I can like end this game 2 minutes up on clock, that's really good for me. What's getting bounced? Or is this another Murktide? It's a 5/5. That's fine. Not that concerned about a 5/5 Murktide. Attacking with the 14/14 Murktide, I'll block with my 3/1 flyer. Got these 2 triggers, so I'll say green, and I will say black as well. Black, so I go Life from the Loam, I'll get Wasteland, Underground Sea, Tropical Island. To use both my green. I will Fatal Push the Darcy. I use my mana efficiently to play a frog. Wait, do I want to do that? Because, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, that's not lethal. So I do need to play the frog. But then he is forced to block the frog, potentially. Or you can just let it through, but either way, I'm okay with that. I will empty my hand to win this combat. And then I'm going to Wasteland the Volcanic. And I can't do that. Discard. Okay, combat has won. Okay. Again, the clocks are really close and we're coming into a tough game 3. Turning off some unnecessary stops. Okay. Clay agreed that the game was over in my favor. Just didn't agree about how long it was going to take. So I don't think I'm going to be able to leverage days on the draw. I think that the Delver deck is too efficient. Do I want any dazes? Maybe 2. Maybe. I don't think so. I think we just play quick. I'll sneak this. I'll F6 through his turn, which is not something I would normally do, but I'm just trying to play efficiently towards the clock. Let's try to find some good stuff. This is good stuff. I'm not countering an end-step brainstorm, so I don't really care about F6ing there. I have a bunch of lands, so I'm not really concerned about this. I could force this Delver. I know I have a Force of Will on top of my library, so I can see if I want to draw that next turn. I will fetch an Underground Sea and Brainstorm now. I hit a Force and a Dress Down, which I think I will use because these cards are going to beat me. I don't have any threat. Okay, well, dazed it. So now what I'm going to do is I will fetch a Tropical Island and Brainstorm with that Trop and try to hit another Fatal Push, or hit a Fatal Push. Did not. Another brainstorm. So I guess the frog is going to connect now. Yeah, I would like to fatally push that frog off of its branch before it runs away with the game. I do not have the ability to counter this. I need to use this brainstorm to dig. He sees a land on top. I will fetch a Bayou so I can't get shut off any colors. Oh, brainstorm. Time to pick your poison and a frog. Those are pretty good. So I can put away Force of Will and LQR. Yeah, I play a Voidwalker now. Because then he's not able to freely discard things to the frog or surveil because I get access to those cards. And then I could pick your poison to make him sacrifice the Darcy, or I can frog and hold up LQR. I have options. Yep, can't block. What a tense match. Don't play a Murktide. Not very nice. At least it has to get sacrificed to this pick your poison. So I'll do pick your poison first. Opponent sacrifices a creature with flying. Okay, so now I'll let the surveil resolve, and then I'm going to quick reflex the Voidwalker. Quick reflexes, yeah, super quick. Each opponent sacrifices a creature flying. And now I can actually tap sack the Voidwalker, and I can deal 3 to this and see what happens. And I can get Bolt then if he discards his whole hand to save it, then I can get the Bolt and cast the Bolt. Yeah, he's doing that. My power is 3, according to this. Now let's kill the frog. Okay, that worked. Now this Darcy's still coming in hot, but hopefully I can find a way out of that. Black, blue, I don't have the bandwidth to hold up force. I need to play to the board, draw things. the stressful spot. Fire Blast. Yep. Wouldn't expect anything less. But it does open up, like, you know, cantrip into removal spell as a way out of this for me. Oh, we're definitely going to be the last match finished. I shouldn't have played that. Should have been able to hold back 2 lands. So now he's looking for a bolt. And I'm looking to not die. Chose not to shuffle. Oh, frog, yeah. So now I need to find like a brainstorm into lots of good stuff. Well, that's not going to do it. Assume he has the wherewithal to win in 33 seconds. Given that the Darcy has to attack, he can't exactly miss his combat step. GG. Well, that was a slug. Fortunately, we lost the first round, but don't have to wait at all for the second one. You wouldn't anyway, but I don't at all. Cool. I'll see you all for round 2. Hey everyone, we're here for round 2. We're against S. Rogers 90 on the play. Let's see what S. Rogers 90 tends to play. S. Rogers 90 does not have much of a mono history. So, I think we'll just keep it. It's a reasonable hand. It's got Waste Loam. It's got Frog Loam. It's got Brainstorm and Fetch Lands. It's not to love. Think all. Oh, opponent's going to 5. 4. No, that's bad for me. So it's funny. We're like 6 and 5. Like, oh, someone's not finding lands. 4 is, oh, they're trying to kill you on turn 1. And so if they're playing the Necrodominance deck, that, you know, the goal is to get Necrodominance into play on turn 1, draw 19, and win on your end step, then I need a Force of Will stat. Or a Daze, which I have neither. So I do have a Brainstorm. So I'm putting this Delta into play. I'm hoping that perhaps they don't have it right now. Once upon a time. Okay, so it's not this deck. They're on 4 with Cloudpost. Well, that makes this Waste Loam thing look way better. Yeah, I don't really care about Vexing Bauble. Let's sewers it up. I do not need a Dreadnought right now. That's not what I'm trying to do. I will wasteland the Nexus. And then next turn I'll fetch and loan back all 3 of those. Or maybe I won't fetch, that way I'm holding. No. Because I'll have the fetch line back anyway. Cloudpost in tapped. So since I already have 2 lands to put back, okay, well, whatever. I'll redraw the UC. I'll fetch Bayou. I'll loan back. I mean, I'm going to have to discard a hand size, so I'm just going to... I'll go back 2 of these so I have a fetch land. And then I'll... Oh wait, yeah, that's correct anyway. Because loam leaves my hand. Yeah. I know how my spells work. So now hopefully I'll be able to get this waste loam lock going. I don't need the loam this turn. Stifle is solid, I think. Let's kick it off with the wasteland on the Cloudpost. Yeah, I should do that in my opponent's upkeep. I'll get a Psychic Frog online as well. The reason I'm doing this in their upkeep is to play around crop rotation. Ooh, almost forgot to put a stop. Okay, so Once Upon a Time on the stack. I'll do it once Upon a Time resolves. Forest, yeah. Get out of here, Cloudpost. Another bauble. Another card I don't care about. Now I will loam back the loam. Then we'll cast it. So I will discard. Alright. I will get all three of these back. I will use the wasteland. I'll discard a Misty. Discard an Underground Sea. Discard a Tropical. I'm just going to make it a 5 power card because then my opponent is on a 4-turn clock. And that seems very appealing to me. One thing that's kind of funny is that if I have 1 mana up and I have like a Force of Will, and the opponent only has 1 Vexing Bauble in play, I can stifle the counter the spell trigger, and so I can like pay an extra card to get my counter spell to resolve. Let's see if it's copying Forest. I will dredge this back. We'll get Wasteland. 1, 2, 3, doesn't matter. And I'll discard the Misty. And Frog. Misty and like, yeah, I don't think I need that many frogs. And this is still like a 2-turn clock, or like, because I can turn up the heat even more next turn. Stifle is again a solid draw. I don't know what it's going to stifle, but things can be stifled. Okay, well, we got the game. Opponent mulled low with a deck that wasn't Necrodominance. We are going to want... So the deck that they're looking at, or that they're playing, is a deck that a very good Cloudpost player got second with earlier this week, last week, Sunday Challenge last week. And so it's somewhere here. 1 second. I'm sorry, they won the challenge with it. And so you'll see it's got Sowing Mycospawn as this like Primeval Titan, new Primeval Titan, where it just like gets rid of one of my lands, finds any one of theirs, enters untapped for what it's worth. Ulamog, Emrakul, Karn, Vexing Bauble, Disruptor Flute, the One Ring. Then in the sideboard, Dismembers are going to definitely come in. Snaring Bridge. So I want Pick Your Poison. I want Dothy Voidwalker. I want Brazen Borrowers. And probably Force of Negation. I misclicked, but I do probably want that in. I don't think I need LQR as much. Witherbloom commands are actually quite good at blowing up like the baubles and disruptor flutes and stuff like that, so I do want these. Dreadnoughts themselves are also really good at just like closing the game really fast. So again, a fan of those, although they do walk into Boseiju, but there's only one Boseiju in the deck apparently. I think I can afford to trim a couple Nulldrifters. Maybe I don't need the Voidwalkers. And then I need to cut some other cards now. Cut a couple Dazes because they're such a big mana deck. Can cut all of my Dazes. And assume that they're just not going to be playing into Daze that much when they're on the play because they'll have the mana to play around it. Yeah, solid hand. Play it on the Void, a card I do not care about. It only stops the loams. Oh, I should have forced that. Whatever. I can find one of my many ways to get it off the table. I do like these. So turn 2, I can end step Address down. And then turn 3, I can play a Nulldrifter. That's what I'm thinking I'll do right now. Okay, we'll see what Disruptor Flute names. Probably Wasteland. Yep. Wasteland has been named. And I do think that I also want the fetch land on top of my library. So I'm playing out this Underground Sea. My thought is that I don't really need to have these forces now since they're not working with Vexing Bauble in play. Wasteland will still function, by the way, I just have to pay extra mana with it. Once upon a time. What is upon a time? Selling Mecha Spawn. Entered play. End step. Press down. Okay, it's also fine. But we're doing the Nulldrifter play now because we draw 2, even though we'll have to discard 1. That's definitely worth our while. Hey, we found the Witherbloom command. I guess we'll discard the Delta. Assuming that I'm going to have one turn of this, my force is still being offline before I can Witherbloom things away. So yeah, I'll get rid of the Delta. Planar Nexus. So Mecha Spawn entering the party? Sure is. What land is it getting? Is it Cloudpost? Could be. Probably should be. Where's this tower? Oh, I see, I see. Yeah. Gives more mana. Not if I, destroy it, but, they don't know that yet. Okay, so I will attack and annihilate. Something is getting sacrificed. Caracas, okay. Now I think I'll do Planar Nexus. Get this off the field. Next turn I'll worry about Vex and Bauble. I just can't. Oh, activated abilities get shut off as a whole. Okay, so I will do the Witherbloom command play now. I just messed up how the card works. So I'll destroy target non-creature, non-land permanent, and I will drain opponent for 2 life. So destroy, Bauble, and drain ya. They get to draw a card. At least my forces work now. I could have destroyed the flute, but I think I would rather not destroy the flute yet. And also, I want to get this Annihilator going, so I don't necessarily want to end step this dress down, but I could just like throw it in during the main phase. I feel like opponent has like an Ulamog or something in hand that getting this Planar Nexus off the field sooner rather than later would be beneficial to me. So yeah, I'm going to play this dress down like now. Nope, not anymore. Unless I get priority here. If I set the stop in time, which I did, yeah, I'll cantrip with the dress down now so that I can still get my Annihilator going on my turn. I just want to dig as deep as I can. Dress down appears to have replaced itself. Brazen Borrower, there we go, perfect. So we'll first attack with Nulldrifter, and then we'll Brazen Borrower the Disruptor Flute back to hand, and then Wasteland the Planar Nexus. And I'll do it on upkeep because it's a flash card, so I want to make opponent use their mana on their turn. So now passing to their upkeep. Crop Rot. I think I force a crop rotation. It's a very good card. Or a deck that is big mana and goes crazy off of the right lands. So now I Petty Theft the Disruptor Flute. And then I'm going to Wasteland the Planar Nexus. Pretty good sequence here. Keep an opponent off of things. Is there right now they have 8 mana in play, 6, 7, 8. They're gonna be down to 3 mana in play once this Wasteland resolves, which is -5 mana. They didn't even play the Disruptor Flute. Oh, Echoing Deeps. Like, would have been nice to be able to stifle that, but Such is life. At least this Nulldrifter's doing good work, keeping the board relatively clear. Yeah, I'm countering this one. And I'll get rid of Frog. Okay. So now Loam is not what we want with this Leyline of the Void. But we got rid of it relatively painlessly. So I will attack, get the Annihilator going. My opponent will be at 7 life, which if I flash in a Borrower next turn is a lethal total. So that's nice. Leyline of the Void is out of here. It's the most expendable card at this point, that makes sense. Now I just have to try to cross the finish line. Tabernacle. I will fetch and play the Borrower, because that's my plan for lethal. I don't want it to have to cost more. Yep, I'll play that in advance of the flute. I'll pay 2 mana on my upkeep for my creatures and then try to attack for lethal. Opponent agrees that that was a good plan of mine, and just saying it out loud was enough, so got the match 2-0. See you all for round 3. Hey everyone, we're back for round 3. We're against Kanakan, who we play about once per week. As per usual, he is on Painter as a very skilled Painter player. Vexing Bauble. I think I have to force this, otherwise my force goes dead. But I don't know. Maybe I just let it resolve and try to fight the fair fight with my other cards. Oh. Daze is another spell that I guess I'll have to pay 2 mana for. This is actually a situation where I could do that force pitch Daze and then stifle the trigger if I'm really concerned. Which I believe I am. So I'll get an Underground Sea. Yeah, because this creates a triggered ability. So I go force, pitch Daze. Then this... Wait, what? Why couldn't I stifle it? Did I have that on auto yield? I don't think so. I don't think I ever auto yielded to this. Well, I was supposed to be able to stifle that trigger, but we went right through it. I don't care for at all. Yeah, I have no idea what happened there. Not pleased. I should have been able to stifle that trigger. I'm going to watch the replay and try to figure out what happened, but I guess you, the viewer, can find out faster than me. I'm going to concede Well, I guess I'm not going to concede here because I could potentially draw a Witherbloom command, and that would get me out of this by blowing up the grindstone. Dress down does not work, by the way, because of the way that layers work. Everything is still blue, even though Painter's Servant loses its abilities. It's weird. Yeah, I'm just holding up mana, pretending I have interaction. I don't. I could draw it. Kanakan knows what's up and is going to grind me out. Okay, that was really weird. I don't like how that happened. But I have a bunch of cards that are really good in the matchup, so hopefully the next games go better. I think I want to cut forces here because I don't want to two-form myself into a red blast, and also vexing bauble is a pain. I think I can afford to cut one of my life from the limbs. And I might just cut the dazes too. Now I have one more card I can cut. Probably Nulldrifter. Maybe it's a Dreadnought, because if there's a Dreadnought in the yard, opponent can weld out my Dreadnought for a Dreadnought. If it's not, I can just win the game super fast. I'll cut a Nulldrifter. That was so weird. Okay. Good hand. I am going to leave up the Hydroblast. I think I'm just going to fetch a basic island here, even if nothing happens, because I want to have all this stuff function under a Blood Moon. Grindstone is in. Grindstone is in. Dreadnought. Yep. So we'll see if I have to use this dress down prematurely, like to stop a painter, then I will. Otherwise, I will do it on end step. Yeah. So I talked about how the layers thing works. Of dress down doesn't stop the painter from doing its painter things, but if I do it in response to the painter, when the painter enters, it never gets to pick a color. And so done this way, it is just a painter with no abilities. Even when the dress down leaves, it just doesn't do anything as far as colors go. Okay, now let's try to find another dress down or something. Stifle's good. Don't think I need this ponder. I don't think I need this frog. I don't know. Trying to figure out what to bin with this Undercity Sewers. I want the Stifle for sure. Maybe I just keep everything. I'm planning to keep everything. So I'm under no pressure to kill this painter because it's just a 1/3. In fact, it has to be welded out and in to have relevant text. Speaking of, there's a welder. That is something I'm going to Fatal Push on the end step. I'm doing that because I think Hydroblast is a more valuable spell, like it can fight a Pyroblast down the road or counter a Goblin Engineer on the stack. So yeah, kill the welder. Then we go Dreadnought. Stifle the ETB. I still think I want to hold up this Hydroblast. Maybe there's some red artifact destruction spell that's going to happen to me. I hope it doesn't, but that's what I'm prepared for. Opponent's got some pretty big constructs. They're no 12/12, but they're pretty big. They're going to be 5/5s in a second. And growing. Phyrexian Dragon Engine. So now I need some way to blow up one of these. I don't want to let them trade with my Dreadnought. Ponder into something. Dress down would be ideal. Well, that's okay. Also hang on for a turn. So put away Nulldrifter. Nulldrifter. Then I can play out and fetch a Bayou and play a Voidwalker. Yeah, I think I like this. And next turn I can hopefully find something that will answer these constructs. They got big really fast. Okay, a construct is in play. They are big. Oh, we're coming in, huh? Well, I will block where I can. Take a lot of pain. Okay, so I have 2 blockers for the big constructs. Although a third construct could come in with the spear, the hasty spear, so I guess it would be a second construct. I'm just kind of thinking out loud here, but the team's going sideways. Voidwalker's attacking because it's not blocking. So opponent takes 6 trample, goes to 3. Black, blue, frog. Blue, black, frog. Now either of these frogs can become a 3/4 at a moment's notice. Not sure if that's necessary, but it's something that's an option to me. Vexing Bauble, yeah. To cantrip with? Yeah. So at this point, gonna basically double chump because I don't want this Phyrexian Dragon Engine to die because then it can be like unearthed or whatever. Okay, cool. Tied it up. I think on the draw, I'm gonna bring in like a force over a Nulldrifter. It's because I don't think I have that much time. Whether these games are playing out, or I have to time my dress downs in like a awkward way for the intended use of the card and not for comboing. Yeah, that seems fine. Not like super happy about it, but it's a game 3, and I think I have a plan at least in the matchup. Also, we confirmed that Dreadnought is indeed really big. Also, it looks like in Canacan's most recent list, the card that I should be aware of and scared of in the sideboard to beat Dreadnought is Abrade. So holding up Hydroblast to beat Abrade is probably the way to go. And there is one Ensnaring Bridge that I should be aware of as well. As Witch Enchanters. Oh, it's a lot of things to blow up Dreadnought. Maybe I'll just... I'm looking at this list off screen, but Witch Enchanters are in here. As are Swords to Plowshares. So I just cut 2 Dreadnoughts out of fear of this Abrade and these Witch Enchanters and these Plows. On the draw for game 3, this hand seems super reasonable. It's got a Witherbloom command, which is probably one of our best cards in the matchup, as well as Wasteland to recur. As soon as we get a creature, we can Quick Reflex as a removal spell. We have a Stifle for emergencies. Pretty happy with this. Okay. This to me screams Red Blast. I think I'm going to Wasteland now. I'm going to hope that it sets him back on mana enough. Okay, there's a Saga. Which I will be able to stifle the final trigger part of it. Risen Borrower, also a good draw. I don't care that much about the constructs. I want to not lose to the Painter combo. I'm going to get a Tropical and Brainstorm now. Just so I have access to everything. This game is going to end pretty soon. Frog and LQR, pretty good. I think that I don't need the Ponder, strangely enough. Yeah. I'm going to stifle the search trigger. This one. And this might get blasted. But I'll be able to blast back. Was not blasted. It's in land, okay. Let's get Undercity Sewers. Don't believe I need that land. So on Kannakan's upkeep, or I could play Frog now. Maybe that's just the way to do it. Blue, black, Frog. Then I'm holding up Hydroblast or LQR. Yeah. This is not stack interactable. Well, I mean, because Legolas's quick reflexes have split second, so any attempt to remove the frog can be met by the LQR. Kannakan's stuck on lands, and I think knows what I'm doing. We've played enough times that I'll reveal my hand for posterity. But yeah, that Wasteland did a ton of work. Wastelanding the tomb there just kind of shut off his entire plan. So we got the match. We're 2-1 now, and I'll see you all for round 4. Hey everyone, we're back for round 4. We're against M. Himukai, who is a very skilled Doomsday player. You can see that we threw back our first hand instantly because it did almost nothing against Doomsday. This hand is a lot better against Doomsday. I'm going to toss one of my 2 Nulldrifters. See, okay, keeping this. And we're off to the races. Once upon a time, this is not very Doomsday. In the first hand with 6 lands and a Nulldrifter, I'm not keeping that regardless, but oh yes, my favorite Doomsday deck. Eldrazi Stompy. This is obviously on me for pegging my opponent to be on a particular archetype, but in my defense, their history does look like this. Like I played a lot of Doomsday since essentially the start of the year. So at this point, I'm trying to get a second land going so that I can dress down into Nulldrifter. And, oh, sorry, Eldrazi. This is counterable. I will counter it. Okay, so on the end step, I will try to find a second land with my sewers. Did not find aforementioned land. Still missed. So the reason why this is counterable, by the way, is this is the only source of colorless mana that my opponent has right now. And so in order for the cavern to create uncounterable mana, it has to tap for a color. Chalice on 1. I will daze. Even though I have the Witherbloom command to answer it, I just want to get my surveils going. I'm trying to find this land. And recurring the undercity sewers is the best way to do that. Found the land. I think I still play this so that I can... Yeah, I want the frog. Frog seems pretty good against large creatures by being a potentially large creature itself. Ancient Tomb. So now the Eldrazi will be uncounterable because the Ancient Tomb will tap for colorless. Yep. And regretting not using this untapped land so I could hold up Stifle. But that is the way that the cookie crumbles. I hope I find another land on top. I'm only getting hit for 3. Could be worse. Alright, well that's not what I wanted. I need land. Got like another turn I can afford to miss, and then I can no longer afford to miss. That's only assuming that Mhimikai also is missing. Okay, that was good. This wasteland's a little awkward. I need to figure out how I'm going to time that. Maybe I can fetch once now. It's the tricolor land because of this Yavimaya. Just trying to bait the wasteland. Maybe not going to work, but it's my hope. So now likely the wasteland's going to go off. Seems to, no, okay. Black, green. So I'll do target player mills and opponent drain. So I'll mill myself, drain opponent. If he wants to wasteland, he needs to do it now. Otherwise I'll have the stifle in reserve. Don't quite know what's happening. but I'll let my opponent make their decisions and unpause. Oh, they're tapping things. Okay, what are we forcing? A giant Kozilek's command? Yeah. And I'll pitch a frog. I will take the trop, put it directly into play, and now I'm stifle proof. Or now I'm wasteland proof, I should say. Kozilek's command has a lot of interesting modes. Create X colorless Eldrazi that add colorless mana. Target player scries X and draws a card, so, you know, yourself. Exile target creature with mana value X or less. And exile up to X target cards from graveyard. So it is main deck graveyard hate too. It's a very multifaceted Magic card. Okay, what's happening here? Eldrazi creature spell. Uh-oh. You cast this exile target land, so I'll stifle. We'll let the first part resolve. The first land thing. It's probably a wasteland. Yeah, bummer. I do want to stifle this one though, because it's already on the stack. Now I'm going to lose 2 lands. Yeah, probably going to lose this game. Yeah. Facing down, not lethal. Okay, well now I know what I'm up against, and it's not Doomsday. So, pick your poison is like, okay. The problem with it is that to have them sacrifice an artifact, it's Chalice on 1, so it counters. I think much more likely is I want like Brazen Borrowers and Fatal Pushes. And I think that I can cut one of my loams. Actually, maybe both of my loams on the play are pretty good. Stifle is like okay as well. Trim 1 stifle. I really am not entirely sure what to cut. Cut a couple Nulldrifters, like since they're a little bit slow. And cut. Maybe I don't need the Brazen Borrowers on the play. And I can bring them in on the draw when it's more likely that a Chalice will resolve against me and I need to bounce something. Okay, I like this hand. Obviously, the Dreadnought Nulldrifter doesn't quite work out yet, but I have a lot of cards that make this active. And I like that I have Witherbloom Command and Life from the Loam to answer like Chalice. Witherbloom Command to answer stuff like Chalice. Loam for when I eventually find a wasteland, I can Loam lock my opponent. It's very unlikely that they play more than like 1 basic land in their entire deck. So now I'm going to loam back both these lands. So I'll go Underground Sea, Tropical Island. Loam these both back. And I am feeling pretty stable on mana. I have Ugin. Well, I'm gonna daze this. Because any 0 mana colorless spells will just like let that card pop off. So in the interest of not doing that, countering it, not gonna loam. So now I would like to draw a wasteland at some point. I played the Misty Rainforest so that if my opponent plays like a Thought-Knot Seer or something, I can Fatal Push it by cracking the fetch land and getting Revolt active. Okay. Let's crack this fetch land. I'll get a Surveil. Surveil a little bit. I do not need yet another Dreadnought. And now I will get this off the field ASAP. Okay, I'm gonna, instead of just using Nulldrifter, I am gonna ponder and see if I can't find a wasteland. Dress down even better. Force of Will does not help because I don't have any blue cards, but 1, 2, 3. No shuffle. So yeah, now my plan is to, if I can possibly afford to wait until end step this dress down, and then pop off on my turn. Let's see what's coming in. I'm gonna lose a land. That's a little bit of a bummer. I said there's 2 lands. Exile land, and they with, oh my goodness. I think I have a loam. Got 2 wastelands in play. So yeah, I'm gonna get a basic island here. And then I can dress down. And then I can play with my 2 lands. It'll still have 2 Dreadnoughts. Eldrazi's versus Phyrexians, a tale as old as time. Another dress down is not too bad. And I'm not going to mess around. Like, I could ponder for more lands and mana stability, but I'm going to put 24 trampling power into play and see if that's enough. I hope it is. They're big. Kozilek's command can remove one because it cares about mana value, so it can X equals 1 on Kozilek's command can get rid of one of the 2 Dreadnoughts, but can't get rid of both. I think that's what they're doing, given that they're casting pretty slowly. I will say it's pretty cool that I have not seen a Grief or Orcish Bowmaster yet tonight. So as far as people playing in a world where those cards are banned, people might already be acting that way. Yeah, they're removing this Dreadnought and doing a Scry. Scry X, then draw a card. The bottom to 2 cards. Found a Lotus Petal and another Wasteland. Oh. Boo. Can't believe they answered both of them. Very rude. Rude behavior. Okay, now I'm gonna dredge this loam so that I can get my mana stable. Grab Wasteland, Underground Sea, Misty Rainforest. I will play the Misty and pass. I just don't want to open up to getting double wasted here. Although it looks like I'm going to get Once Upon a Time out of this. I assume there's something good in their top 5. Ancient Tomb is not that good. That's all they got. I'm in pretty good shape. Don't think I've used my Surveil land yet this game. No, I have. It got exiled. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, so they have to use all their mana to Ivugin. I think I will. If I wasteland the eye now, they have to use it now. Then I can use that to inform my decisions. Yeah, like that. What colorless creature card are you getting, opponent? Waste Escape Battlemaid. You cast a spell, tell target artifact or enchantment opponent controls, and return target creature opponent controls to opponent's hand. I don't really care about those things right now. Ponder. Lands. I already have a bunch of lands. Any order shuffle? Yes. No loam. Brainstorms. Okay, maybe. I think I'd rather Witherbloom command right now. Just to get the life total buffer back up. That makes sense. I'm honestly not sure. Otherwise I can brainstorm right now. I'll brainstorm. Stifle is exactly what I wanted to see. Put away one Withered Bloom. I can put away one Dress Down. Stifle was a great draw because now I can save my Tropical once the Wasteland gets fired off on it. Feeling pretty okay about that. Thought not seer. Hardly thought not knower. Unfortunately, I do think I have to stifle this because otherwise they just pick the stifle and this masks the rest of my hand. The turn where I had two Dreadnoughts in play and it got double Kozilek's commanded is unfortunate for me. So this turn, I have to just try to stay alive. So black, green. I will mill 3 cards and drain. So I'll mill myself 3 cards. I'll drain my opponent. I will put an Underground Sea into my hand. I'm going to 1 here. This is not like stable. Especially since I know my opponent has a Waste Escape Battle Mage on deck. I'm pretty sure I'm going to lose this game, but I want to try to fight my best. Oh, yeah, I'm dead. This card is just such a beating. It's a double Wasteland because it exiles, yeah, exile target land, so it can hit my basic, and then the Wasteland hits my other one. What an absolutely brutal Magic card. Perfect victory for my opponent. I have no permanence in play. You know what? And I'm going to leave it with no permanence in play. I think it's a better end. GG. No, I'll fetch. All right. 2-2 now, but let's see how we can do. But not likely we'll be able to sneak into top 8, but I'll try. See you in a minute. Okay, we are back for round 5. We're against INF, another fantastic Japanese Magic player. We're just running into all of them tonight. I will keep this hand. I'm going to go Misty Pass. I'm going to go Misty Pass. See what INF is up to. They play. He plays a bunch of different decks. And he walks into a stifle. Let's see if we get a fight over it. Nope. Let's fire for Brainstorm. Okay, so we don't need the A days. We don't need 3 days. We don't need this Bayou. We can ponder and shuffle these away. Unless we find a land as a fetch land as the 3rd card down. Dress down, and actually this is good enough, I think, to keep just because of that Dreadnought. So I'll put Days at last. I'm going to put Dreadnought second, Bayou on top, and draw it. I was going to shuffle, but just between Dressdown and Dreadnought and a ton of dazes, that seems worth keeping. Yeah. And I'm not that concerned about the DRC. I'm much more concerned about getting this Dreadnought down and then countering everything that's able to answer it. So I will actually lead on the Dressdown playing into Daze because I kind of want to replay one of these lands. Okay, it did not get dazed. I will play out this wasteland. Cast a Dreadnought, and I have double daze. Which I will use. If needed. It is, in fact, needed. Double force, meet double daze. INF has seen enough, and we're on to game 2. This is Grixis Delver, just like round 1, a force-pitched Psychic Frog, which is how I know that. So I want carpets, I want pick your poison, I want these guys, I want Hydroblast, Brazen Borrowers. I'm still kind of unsure on Dothy Voidwalker. I don't think I want Dreadnought. I don't think I want 2 life from the limbs. I don't know if I want dazes. I feel like I want to cut them. And then I can cut like a stifle. That seems solid. Not the exact plan we did last time. I think this might be more coherent. It's where the vibes are at right now. The night grows later, and the sideboarding gets better or worse. I'm not sure, but it gets different. This hand is okay. Opponent's going to 6. This hand notably has no black mana. That's the biggest problem with it, but it's okay. I'm going to force this pitching Dressdown just because it will cool off the heat on me. And a turn 1 DRC also like rummages through the deck super quick. I'm going to fire off a Brainstorm right now. Hey, I found the land. Fantastic. I think I'm going to put away the Tropical. So if opponent plays a frog, I will push it. If they don't play a frog, I will wasteland them. Actually, no, I don't want to draw my next land, so I will just land go as well. Also now it looks like I'm representing Bowmaster. You know, I'm gonna get a Bayou here. No, I'm not. I'm gonna get an Underground Sea. And I'm gonna brainstorm. I'm gonna see if I can't get a stifle off on that. Well, no stifles to be seen. 2 Nulldrifters. Just too many Nulldrifters. This land is rude, but it's okay. Second main, frog. Delver, not a frog. I think I'm going to fetch a Bayou and just push the Delver. Guess I can wait for upkeep because there's no manipulation that will help them. Like in the upkeep, they can't like fetch away their top card. And if they're revealing it, I would like to know. Yeah, so now I know about a daze. Does knowing about a daze change anything that I do? Yeah, maybe I petty theft this now. Because this is a more efficient play. Uses my mana more this turn. Now I know they have a daze. Delver's back in. Let's ponder. Stifle is good. Witherbloom command is okay, I guess. For the next Delver, a second Nulldrifter is not needed. Cool. They set this up with Ponder. So I'm just gonna Fatal Push it after they flip it. Because it's 100% gonna flip. I just want to know what they flip it with. Probably Daze. Brainstorm. See, I now know more cards. Force Pitching Daze, okay. That's quite a move. Let's see if we're able to get this Nulldrifter online. We've got a Stifle for it. We've got the lands. Plays into a Daze. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to try it. We draw the 2 cards anyway. And we attempt to Stifle. I assume this does not work. Yeah, Dazed. But we have drawn cards. We drew a removal spell, which we'd like to see. Opponent might be cranking up the heat on us. We know they have an Underground Sea in hand and 2 unknowns. Okay, so green, black. mill cards, opponent drain. So I will mill, drain opponent. I'm just trying to get my lands out up from under me. Look at the underground sea so I don't have to fetch. And I think I want to try to flash in the Brazen Borrower to block the Delver. I'll put it in on upkeep. That way I can save this go for the throat for a Murktide Regent. Alright, dazed again. You kind of expect, or I didn't like expect that, but I'm trying to exhaust my opponent's resources before I do the high impact plays. Okay, let's ponder. Don't want those. Let's brainstorm. Hey, those same cards. Okay, so I think on my opponent's upkeep, I'm going to go for the throat. I have 6 lands in play. You just hardcast a Nulldrifter next turn. That doesn't feel too likely to resolve. Maybe it will. Let's do some surveilling to see what I draw. I don't think I want it. I think if I'm able to stick a creature, I'm winning. I'm trying to figure out if I can afford to take the hit from Delver this turn. Maybe I just can't. Yeah. Okay. It's just a bauble. I'm in good shape. I will cast a 7-mana Nulldrifter. Drew 2 more lands. Oh, it's in. Wow. That's surprising. Pretty happy about it. Pretty funny that it's able to cast 7 drops. GG. Casting the 7 drop was sufficient. Sure, 3-2 now. Let's go for a 4-2. See you all for round 6. Hey everyone, we're back for round 6. We're against Shatin, who is most recently seen playing Eldrazi. I will keep this hand. I think I'm going to do a Trop and Ponder, trying to save this fetch land from my Brainstorm. This was their most recent list. A lot like the list we lost to in round 4. I am going to properly fear sowing Myco Spawn. The fact that it's like a 6-mana double wasteland is pretty insane, and one of them is like a strip mine where it can hit basics. Just exile target land. Looking for like a dress down for my Nulldrifter. Daze and Psychic Frog are also great, so that's what I'll do instead. Now my plan can be like Force, Pitch, Brainstorm, or whatever, then play Frog, and then have Daze. Or Force, Pitch, Daze, or whatever. Eldrazi. Okay. So Eldrazi confirmed. I'm not that concerned about a Chalice. Am I completely unmoved by Chalice? I think I am. I think I just want to stick this Frog. So I can discard my like cards I can't cast to the Frog to grow it. And then if my Frog is big enough, then it will win combat, which is really what I want. I have Ugin. Okay, now I can Daze. Again, this had to be cast using colorless mana because it's part of the requirement, so Cavern could not make it counterable. Dress Down and Nulldrifter is another great combo, so let's see if we can't get a third land. I don't know if I'm going to want to YOLO with the Dress Down. I think I won't, because it will turn off my Frog draw. I'm going to force this Pitching Daze. I'm going to wait till I have a third land in my hand before I do the Dress Down Nulldrifter play. Oh, there's the third land. Okay, I'll do it next turn then. Yeah, and I'm not going to use Life from the Loam because I want to end step this Dress Down. It that heralds the end. Okay. The end is heralding. So I'll surveil first. Nope, that's a 1-drop. Does not combo with Chalice of the Void. There's another one. And another one. Haha, perfect. But I do get this Nulldrifter. Obviously not attacking my 1-2 into the 2-2 since I cannot pump it because Dress Down was in play. But now I have a Nulldrifter in play, and that's going to be really, really good and hard for my opponent to beat. Yeah. And my opponent agrees it's hard enough to beat, they just conceded on the spot. So I want Crazy Bees, Fatal Pushes, going for the throat. I don't think I want both loams. I think I can cut a couple stifles. Dreadnought itself is tricky. I'm like feeling burned by the getting those 2 Dreadnoughts in play in round 4 and then getting them double answered, but I feel like that was more of like variance than a flaw in having them. But maybe I cut down on like Nulldrifters just because they're going to be slow, especially on the draw. Yeah. Let's try this. Okay. Deck is submitted. And yeah, we've got both of these guys. We've got a Ponder, we've got to go for the throw, we've got a Wasteland. It's not to like. And we've got perfect mana thanks to their Yavimaya. So we'll leave the Yavimaya around because we're going to use it for green. Oh wow, and we get a Life from the Loam, which I'm not going to put into my hand because I don't want my opponent to know about it just yet. They still don't have colorless mana. Kind of funny. That's I out of here. If they miss on land drop, I am just going to wasteland this. Okay, now I'm going to wasteland the temple. Battle Mage, okay. Not that scary. Feeling pretty good about these wastelands. My next move, okay, I have Ugin. I was going to say my next move would be to Witherbloom, blow up the petal, but now I'm not so sure. Could still blow up the petal and recur a wasteland. The fungus. The much feared fungus among us. Card's so good. Most ancient of tombs. Okay. I'm gonna brainstorm here. Try to find some good stuff. Found a force, that is good stuff. I don't want the Dreadnought right now. I think I need the rest of it. So since I'm full up on lands, I'm gonna use the Witherbloom first. Well, black, green, destroy the petal and recur a wasteland. Or is it drain life, recur wasteland? I don't think I care that much about the petals anymore. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're kind of close to Ivugan. Not that close. I'm gonna blow up a petal. I'm not sure which one is right. But it's what I'm doing. Maybe they'll do a command for 2, Kozilek's command. I feel like they're holding that up. Okay. Made my land drop. So now what am I hoping for? Not a Cavern of Souls off the top, that's for sure. I think I need to hit this Ancient Tomb and kill the Echo Spawn. If I hit the Ancient Tomb, they don't have colorless other than the Cavern, so it's not going to be uncounterable. That means that they're using their command, which is fine. I can counter that. Yeah, no way. Then I'll wait until their turn to go for the throat, just in case a more necessary target shows up. But it's very likely going to be this Mega Spawn that apparently has a throat that I can go for. Wasteland, Wasteland, Misty. And I'm just hitting the colorless sources of mana. Hopefully I can stabilize soon. Ah. Checks. Okay, well. Another battle mage is not the worst. But I do think I have to Nulldrifter this turn. Just so that I can draw cards and stay afloat. Or like try to like draw into relevant stuff. Prison Borrower is close to relevant stuff. Because I'll go to 3. Then I'll like bounce one of them. Wasteland. Go to 1. Hey, Dress Down is also good. I think a Petty Theft. This guy. And then I think I have to Wasteland so it doesn't get recast. My other option was like Dress Down into Nulldrifter, but that doesn't beat the 2 of them. City beats it anyway. Go into 1 here. Well, that's not going to do it. Let's go to game 3. On the play, I don't think my plan changes all that much. Maybe Life from the Loam becomes a little bit better. Not that much better. Still have my Witherbloom commands. 1 Loam is fine. Just means if I can keep my opponent down early, I want to. It's high priority to not let their mana develop. I'm going to keep this. I'm going to do a basic island and ponder. I just don't want to get it wasted and instantly lose on the spot. Devourer of Destiny has been revealed. So my opponent's upkeep, they get some card selection. No land, no keep. land. That actually kind of works. Three cards enter the exile zone. Chalice Wasteland, Into That heralds the end. And as much as I want to do this Wasteland play, I think I just have to try to Dreadnought. Which means end step dress down. Or it means hardcasted days against this Thought-Knot Seer. And if I draw a third land, I can just do it. Okay, I don't think that I'm supposed to just YOLO the dress down into a very likely not land. I think I want to keep it around. Eldrazi, yes. Fleshraker, yeah. That heralds the end. Also unsurprising. This is going to deal a lot of damage to me, but it's not killing me just quite yet. And step dress down. Okay, we found a force. And we found a land. That's good. So let's play Dreadnought. Let's Wasteland the Cavern. And Fatal Push the Fleshraker. Yeah, I like this. Okay. Now I can counter the Kozilek's command with Force of Will Pitching Frog. Otherwise, I'm in decent shape. Who needs to cast Witherbloom command? Not me. Phyrexians versus Eldrazi, Part 2, Electric Boogaloo. Opponent's thinking. Opponent is still thinking. I'm pausing again to inform you, the viewer, that my opponent is still thinking. Thinking has completed. The Kozilek's command is on the stack. And we're forcing it because that was my plan. This might prompt a concession here because they're at 8. And that means that this even on board is coming in for lethal. I mean, this is split second, so I'm not going to not do it. Just make it extra lethal here. Hey, we did it. The Phyrexians defeated the Eldrazi. We're 4-2 now. Very, very unlikely we're going to top 8. Likely we'll be like somewhere in the 11th and 12th range. I have to wait for the round to end, but I will show you how we finish. See you all in a second. Well, we got 10th, but it wasn't particularly close. The 4-2s who snuck into top 8 had breakers between like 64% and 7%, and we had one that were in the 50%. So technically it looks like we're higher than the one in 9th. I think that it's display error and that they probably did come in a little bit higher than us. But yeah, as it stands, our opponent match win puts us, solidly in 9th place. It's not like particularly close. And then 12, 13, 14 were the rest of the 4-2s. And a couple of the high-performing 3-3s snuck into top 16. Lucky them. And it looks like all of the 2-4s made it into top 32. With top 33, where you lose out on prizing, was only with 1 win. That's exciting. Yeah, our round 1 opponent who beat us in that match ended up top 8ing. Claes Picklemeyer, very good player, so not surprised to see him there. Yeah, exciting. That was a lot of fun. Let's check out the deck list one more time. Yeah, so this is the list we played. I was also playing like a straight blue-black version of Stifle Knot, which I'll show you now. Like this. Wait, no, not that one. Blue-black. Card Knot. There we go. So it looked like this. It just, nothing fancy. It's playing Orcish Bowmasters though, and so I was trying to not play the Bowmasters tonight in the interest of, in case they got banned, I should say, since you're watching this in the future, where the ban announcement for Monday has already been announced. So, yeah, again, this is a bug, frog knot, stifle knot. Not sure what I'm going to call it in the video, but something along those lines. Deck was a lot of fun. 4-2 finish is solid. The our 2 losses, we played the matchup twice. We played against Eldrazi Aggro twice. We won 1, lost 1. We played against Grixis Delver twice. We won 1, lost 1. So it's not like the losses are unwinnable matchups. We just didn't win all of them, which is okay. Sometimes that happens. Pretty proud of the performance. Hope you enjoyed the video. And as always, I'll see you next Monday. Bye-bye.